Good morning, everybody. It is Sunday morning, the 28th of August, racing at Kenilworth today. Welcome for myself, Neil Andrews. I've gone through the card quite extensively, but so too is the Ghostryder. So he's given me some thoughts on the racing. They say two brains are better than one, so we shall see. I don't altogether agree with the Ghostryder in every race, but funnily enough, there are some horses that he doesn't like that I also don't like, that I fancied. So in that sense, we're in agreement. But racing at Kenilworth today should be pretty competitive on the winter course. And we race, of course, with the opening race of the day being the first race at 13:10, so a relatively late start. Let's get on to sharing the screen, shall we? And let me show you at this relatively early juncture what the card changes are. Just the three scratchings: race 2, number 7, Bonanza, and then 2 scratchings in race 8, number 7, White Witch, and number 10, Elsa's Palace. Of course, Devon Ashby is not riding today. We wish Devon a speedy recovery. Unfortunately, he experienced a broken leg on Friday, so we wish him a quick and speedy recovery to Devon Ashby. There it is, medically indisposed. Not much else to report. Blinkers on race 6, number 5,000 Ships. That did catch my eye. Okay, let's get on to the fixed odds betting. And we take you to the first race of the day, where the Ghostryder liked number 2, Gypsy Express on form. He thought the improver would be number 9, Why Not Jackie, which is now ridden by Gareth Wright, by the way. And that Pacific Green form's okay. And his third selection was the first time number 4, Aphrodite, who's related to, amongst others, Vardy. So pretty well related is that daughter of Kurari. For Jimmy Sarkis, Greg Blank, and the Utahs, they've had great success with that family. And this might be another one in that conveyor belt. So utmost respect, if there's money, and there has been, for number 4, Aphrodite. But of the exposed form, certainly number 2, Gypsy Express, looks to set the standard. There was a bit of money for number 6, Cityscape. That's a daughter of Canford Cliffs. Well, we know how well Canford Cliffs did as a stallion in his with his 2-year-olds. So this is a Canford Cliffs filly, and William Cotwer rides. I'm not going to get overly involved in the first race because, as you know by now, I'm not really a bipod player. If you wanted to, I would. The key, I think, is number 4, Aphrodite. Just watch if there's a follow through with the horse, and if she looks half as good as the family of Vardy. There's the other big horse, isn't there? I can't think of what his name is, who's the younger brother to Vardy, who's pretty darn good as well. Big, strong, strapping horse, but I think he had knee chips. Yeah, it's a good family. Let's move on to race 2. And here, the betting, well, number 1, Kalahari Ferrari's eased out from 5-2 to 3-1. Touch of money for Barney McGrew. That is the horse that the Ghostryder likes. He was pretty much in the camp of number 3, Barney McGrew. In his own place accumulator that he sent me through, he's going to bank number 3, Barney McGrew. He did feel that number 4, All About Al, was the closest to him on the handicap. It's one of those smaller fields, and with the scratching of number 7, Bonanza, there's only 6 left. You should really be fine with the number 3 and 4. And number 2, T'Challa, had excuses last time, was staying on, and I like the booking of Keegan DeMella. Keegan's never ridden it before, but obviously a very capable rider. So a trappy little one in the first, but for the Ghostryder rather. For the Ghostryder, he's going to bank a number 3, Barney McGrew. I only really start getting involved with the pick 6 from race 3, so let me give you my opinions for the third race of the day. This is a maiden plate. Well, Robert Burns has been pretty expensive to follow. I think he's a nice horse. He will win soon, but the draw of 10 is not in his favor, and he just can't seem to crack a draw, this horse. He drew 9 out of 12, 11 out of 12, 8 out of 11, so he's never really got something anywhere close to the paint. Last time he was pulling, and he cost a right 4 shoe. But it wouldn't surprise me if he popped up. But I think most punters have probably had enough chasing him at relatively short odds. His stable companions here are number 2, Sudden Song, who's running for the 3rd time as a gelding, and number 3, Donderstorm, who is actually the one that's been tickled up in the betting. He's a 4-year-old like the other two. He's got Cornet Orfer riding him, and he's drawn at 5, which is an altogether better draw than his stable companions. One, Robert Burns, is drawn 10, and 2, Southern Song, is drawn 8. So I might, of the Crawford runners, be leaning towards the 3, but I think that the race is going to be fought out elsewhere. Ghostryder fancies number 10, Triple Time. He's a son of Twice Over out of a VAR mare. Interesting that he made his debut over a mile and drops back to 1400. He's nicely drawn at 2. Richard Ferree rides again, so I think you've got to respect him. But 6-1 is about right. I thought the improver in the race was number 6, Red William. Cabello Matsuyama, who's a tremendous rider and has been doing us, if you follow us here, more than 1 or 2 favors recently. I actually sent him a message on Instagram saying keep it up, because he bought home the price booster for us again the other day. So it's not only the Cabello riding, the blinkers go on. The penultimate start behind Royal Aussie, who's pretty darn decent. In fact, I think he's the highest rated 3-year-old at this stage, coming out of their 2-year-old season. There was no disgrace running behind him from a poor draw, and he's drawn 4 here. So for me, the value certainly when the horse was 10-1 was number 6, Red William. Just a shout out to number 5, Nevada King. Keegan DeMello rides. His penultimate start, he was also poorly drawn at 9 out of 9. So I think he could be an improver. Altogether, this race, I think, has the potential of a upset. My first choice is number 6, Red William, but beyond that, it does look open. The first choice of the Ghostryder is number 10, Triple Time, but he concurred that it was open. He even mentioned number 4, Ensuing, with Smunga Kamalo on, although that too is not well drawn. That's drawn 9. Trappy little race, race 3. If you're going to go for a pick 6, make sure that you come through the first leg and don't leave anything out that you think might pop up, because I think it has an open look about it. Let's move on to race 4. And here, one of the favorites is number 1, Run Rudolph Run. Well, this is a special weights maiden. He's pretty consistent, and he's drawn 2, and I'm sure he'll run well, but I don't see too much value at 9-4 in the betting. Even though he opened up at 2-1, he's eased out a bit, but to me, still no value. I'll just go through them individually. I thought the booking of Louis M. Cottrell was quite interesting on Peter Wrench's horse, number 2, Short, Sharp, Shock. Initially, I thought, well, maybe Louis can't ride the weights on number 6, Popping Crease, and number 8, I'm a Man, who he has ridden both horses on the previous occasions. But I think he can, because he's riding a horse came 54 later on. He certainly could have made the weight on number 6, Popping Crease, which is a horse that both the Ghostryder and I like. So I did think it was an interesting riding booking, number 2, Short, Sharp, Shock. His last couple of starts have been pretty poor, but he is a horse who likes to go handy, and I'm sure Louis won't hang around. So maybe that's the plan with him. Strong rider, and Short, Sharp, Shock will go to the front. 3, Williams Impacts, beautifully bred. He's got blinkers first time. Hasn't been well drawn at his last start. He's got absolutely 0 form, but he's got to start improving with that pedigree, I would think. Number 3, Williams Impact. 4, Guy Alexander. Support at long odds from 25-1, now finds himself at 16-1. He's a 4-year-old. Also last time, don't know what happened there. I don't know whether Peter Wrench had a virus or something, because that was the day by Mr. Monocle. Well, to be fair, it was a work riders race. Maybe that had something to do with it, but they both ran poorly in that race. But they're better than that. Number 2, Short, Sharp, Shock, and number 4, Guy Alexander. On to 5, Machete Man. He's the son of Active War. Keegan DeMelo rides. He suddenly improved last time at his 3rd run of being a gelding, but he's got to improve some more, I think, to win here, which he could perhaps do in an open race. 6, Popping Crease, I said, is probably the first choice for the Ghostryder and myself, but there's no great value at 9-4. 7, Cosmic Empire, I don't think can win, even though Smunga Kamalo's picked up the ride. 8, I'm a Man is interesting. He's to be ridden by Calvin Habib. He's drawn average at best at 7, but he is a son of Twice Over out of that excellent family, the Shadow Dancing family that Claverflay Stud have, which goes back to Captain Allen, all of those. Complete warrior and all of that family. I'm a man, certainly not without a chance. And likewise, number 9, Jack Ryan, which is interesting. So Gareth Wright rides him today, and he could improve. He was drawn 9 out of 9 last time. In fact, I would, if I was shopping around for some value in this race, number 9, Jack Ryan at 16 to 1, and number 2, Short Sharp Shock at 20 to 1 would probably be my value plays, because although I like 6 Popping Priest, I think he's a bit too skinny in the market, as is number 8, I'm a Man. So that is the 4th race of the day. That'll be the opening leg of the first jackpot. And while I'm talking about that, we will have a take a bet with Tab today, but the subject for that is going to be the second jackpot. So you should be able to see that a little bit later on this morning once that has been recorded. Let's move on to race 5. I quite like this race. Even if you're not going to have a bet, it'll be quite interesting because there's some nice horses and some old handicappers here campaigning. And you've got a horse like number 3, Arctic Drift, who's having his 28th start, but he is a 4-time winner. So he's no spring chicken, but I like his chances here. He looks very well in to me on the weights, does number 3, Arctic Drift. In fact, I ought to declare that when I saw 10 to 1, I did have a nibble, which is perhaps why he shortened a little bit. 10 to 1, I thought was a crazy generous price on number 3, Arctic Drift each way. He's now at 6 to 1, which is more what I'd expect him to have been. 4-pack leader. Well, I said Arctic Drift is a 6-year-old. Pack leader is an 8-year-old, but he's campaigned against some of the best. Came up to Joburg and ran for a while, trained by Alec Laird, and he certainly didn't disgrace himself. But he's 23 points down in the merit rating. So, yes, he's 8, but the handicap is giving him a chance. He's not well drawn at 10, but he's got Cabela Matsanyana on, and he certainly could easily pop up, could number 4, Pack leader. 5 Sabina's Prodigy is one of Justin Snaith's 4 runners in the race. And for that statement, I can say that the Ghostryder thought that the Snaith runners, one of the Snaith runners would win. I don't necessarily agree with him. In fact, I don't agree with him because I know what I've done in the jackpot. I think I may have put one of their horses in, but I didn't put all 4. 6, The Future is Bright, 7, Top Quality, and 8, Baratheon. All come from that same form line last time, and there's absolutely nothing between them. So if you like Baratheon, as I do, or Baratheon, then I suppose that number 6, Future is Bright, and 7, Top Quality will be right on top of it. The bottom weight, number 10, Dubai Lights, would have been in my top mix, but he is actually slightly under sufferance. If you have a look, he's rated an 87, I think it is. Yeah, 87, and he's carrying the same weight as Baratheon, who is rated 90. So he's slightly under sufferance, but he does have the bonus of having Smunga Kamalo on. So again, interesting race. I thought one of the nice races of the day. My value play, certainly, well, I've already made a statement about that. I took the 10 to 1 Arctic Drift each way in that race. So for me, in an open race, 3 Arctic Drift, 4-pack leader who's come down in the merit ratings, and 8 Baratheon to improve. Let's move on to the 6th race of the day now. And, well, here's a race where the Ghostryder and I concur that we're both scratching our heads a little bit as to why number 1 is favourite and has been backed. He's from 33 to 10 into 5 to 2. Well, maybe he's in good company with the tipping because Brendan Galliard has gone for number 1 to win the race. But I think the race is pretty open. It's an 84 handicap. Staying with the Ghostryder, he doesn't like the 1. He likes the 2 Snaith horses here, with number 3 Steinbeck being his first choice and number 2 Navy Strength being his second choice. Just to complicate matters further, I'm not saying they can't win, but for me, I'm looking for value outside of all of those, numbers 1, 2, and 3. I thought number 4 ran nicely last time. Now, he brings some Gravel form, which traditionally is not necessarily the strongest. But I do recognize that he's got Smunga Kamalo on. He's drawn 1, and the Son of Elusive Fort has dropped down 14 points in the merit rating. And I can see him going handy here and getting a bit of weight, just a kilogram or so from those top horses. He might prove hard to peg back. So big respect for the 4. My value in the race is number 5,000 Ships. if you have a look at the lines of form with Steinbeck and Navy Strength, he's down 4.5 kilograms with both of those. So he really should beat Navy Strength again if you just take the handicapping at face value. And he is actually going to beat Steinbeck by a short head as well. If you look at, he got beaten 4.4 lengths and he's 4.5 lengths better off. Also, with number 5,000 Ships, he's a Silvano, and we know they get better with time. He's very lightly raced. Love the booking of Louis Cotua, and he's got blinkers on. So in time to come, he might need a bit of a trip, being a Silvano out of a Fort Wood mare. But to be fair, he did shed his maiden over a mile. So 1,000 Ships, certainly not without a chance. And then you start to look at the bottom weights. Number 6, Tizona, who's struggled to get a good draw. He's much better drawn today. And number 7, Galactic Path, who I backed last time. And I couldn't shout at home because I was actually watching the race next to Greg Inion, who trained the runner-up, Masterful Guy. And Greg had been telling me how unlucky the horse was and never gets anything going his way. So I didn't want to rub his nose in it that I'd back the winner, but I thought it was quite a good win from Galactic Path. If I remember correctly, he actually got passed by Masterful Guy and sort of rattled back to win quite a good race. And he had been poorly drawn. So of just 52 kilograms, he's not the worst 14-1 shot I've seen. So in summing up, what I can tell you what I've done in the jackpot in this leg, in our take a bet jackpot, is I actually went field, because I don't want to go out if the one does win. I don't want to go out if the Ghostryder's right about the Snaith runners 3 and 2. And I certainly don't want to go out with my own horses from a value play, which are 4 and 5 and even 7. So I'm going field in that leg of the jackpot. Let me move on to the 7th race. Here I'm going to go short. I think this is going to be a Nara's Dynasty for me. Keegan DeMello rides for Drakenstein Stud. She is, I believe, upwardly mobile. I think she'll get better in her 3-year-old career. She was super impressive when she won, and with that confidence under her belt, from a 1 draw, being out of that Trippy family in Nara, and of course it's just a prolific Drakenstein Stud family. I think Nara's Dynasty has the biggest scope for improvement. If she does fluff her lines, well, number 2, Treasure Hunt, seldom runs a bad race and has been supported, so I can probably understand why somebody took the 10-1. Looked decent value. 7, Open Secret, is the stable companion to Inara's Dynasty. I don't think she, on paper, on level terms, could hold a candle to Inara's Dynasty, but she is getting 3 kilograms, and she's also drawn next door at 2. So I don't think that she could beat Inara's Dynasty, but if Inara's Dynasty has an off day and maybe isn't as good as I think, then perhaps there's an upset there. And the last horse I want to mention is the Ghostryder selection. He liked number 3, Time Flies. And she's a 4-year-old, beautifully bred daughter of Dynasty, and she's only giving 2.5 kilograms to Inara's Dynasty, who's obviously the year younger filly. So, yeah, I kind of respect the Ghostryder's opinion there. If number 4, Inara's Dynasty, fluffs alliance, 3 Time Flies could certainly pick up the pieces. But I had to find a banker somewhere, and for me, number 4, Inara's Dynasty, gets the benefit of any doubt there. And I hope she keeps winning, because she's beautifully bred and she looks like she could be a real contender for some of the fillies' features going forward. Let's move on to the 8th race. A couple of scratchings, as I mentioned here. The 7 comes out, the 10 comes out. I don't think either of them had form, so I don't think there's anything to cry over. Let's have a check. I don't think I would have gone for the 7. And, well, actually, I thought the 10 might have improved, but that becomes a moot point because it's scratched. So this last race is, for me, pretty open. Number 1, Touch of Grace, is not the worst shout here. She's a 4-year-old. She's drawn 2. She's had her chances to improve, but I think she could improve again over the extra 200 here. Number 2, Jewel Ray, has been moderate to date, but I think she could improve. Muzieni gets the ride. 3, Ponte Vecchio, is the Ghostryder's first choice. But for me, she's had a few chances. This is her 5th start, and she's also drawn 10. So Richard Ferree's hands are going to be full trying to negotiate that. From a value point of view, I think 72 is too skinny for me. Here's an interesting couple of runners. 4 Dreamt I Could Fly and 8 Silver Queen. Now I'm bracketing them together because on debut they ran behind Ciao Bella, both on pedigrees. This was over 1,000 meters. Both on pedigrees that day would have been crying out for something like this trip because I 4 Dreamt I Could Fly is a Silvano. And Silver Queen, although she's a Querari, is after that Silvano mare, Silver Mountain. So there wasn't anything between them on debut. And in fact, number 8, Silver Queen, who's 20 to 1, and number 4, Dreamt I Could Fly, is 11 to 2, actually beat her on that run. So I'm going to put both of those into my play, number 4, Dreamt I Could Fly, and number 8, Silver Queen, because they've both got excellent pedigrees, and I think they will continue to improve. 5, Soft Touch, has got some form. It's a Camphor Cliff. She's been improving steadily. Number 6, Maguru, has got another, similar to number 3, Ponte Vecchio, has got the draw of 12 to negotiate. I'm not so sure how strong that meta form was, to be honest. So I think she's going to have to improve a bit. I mentioned 8, Silver Queen. 9, Daisy Duke, I think, is a definite improver. What price is she? She's at 16 to 1. She's a daughter of the United States, but she's out of that mare Elsium, which makes her a sister to Russian Rock, who won the Cape Guineas of his 3-year-old career. He's that horse that's been extremely frustrating for Ian Longmore because he's got lots of talent, but he keeps pulling. He pulls like a dentist, does Russian Rock. But this is the sister. And she steps up to 1,400, the extra 200 meters. I think she could be an improver in an open race. Calvin Habib rides. And then the only other 2 are the bottom ones here. Well, number 11, Make It Snappy, makes her debut. You don't get too many better pedigrees when you see a daughter of Dynasty out of a Western Wintermare. And Team Kisvetter have kept this one because they bred it at Richmond Studs. But as you can see, Wayne Kisvetter is the nominee. So you've got to respect the fact that they've kept her. Whether she can make a winning debut over 1,400 meters from an 8 draw, she'll have to be pretty good. But that is balanced by the fact that it's not the world's strongest maiden. So you've got to respect her. Number 11, Make It Snappy. From a pick 6 point of view, of course, you wouldn't need her because the first raced horse home would count. But certainly from the PAs and the second jackpot, where a first timer does count, I don't think you can leave her out. And 12, Tuscany. Well, I don't particularly like Tuscany, but if you're going field, I'd be stupid to leave her out. She's a give me the green light. Hasn't got the best of draws at 11, but she's also got some fair form, and she did improve at the second time of asking. So that last race, interesting, some nicely bred horses. I'm looking for some improvement from the likes of 4, Dreamt I Could Fly, 8, Silver Queen, and 9, Daisy Duke. But it wouldn't surprise me if anything won there. Just to sum up, that the Ghostryder like number 3, Ponte Vecchio. So that is the story today for our racing down at Kenilworth. As I say, I will have a price booster for you later on. Clochlo and I will also be doing a take a bet, which will be that last jackpot. That'll be up on a separate video. The last thing for me to say is come on, you Spurs, because they're playing today. I know there's a lot of racing fans who are Spurs fans, and we'll be hoping that they can beat Nottingham Forest. There's a few Nottingham Forest fans, actually, who like racing, including my sister, but we won't be talking today because my team takes on her team. Anyway, enough of that. Clock in the gallop. Have a good day's racing. Thanks, everyone.